If you haven't done so yet, please log in your attendance via iClicker. I'm going to have it on for a minute, maybe less. If you do not get to sign in for the attendance, you will be able to vote on the other motions, and that will also count as your attendance. Elisa, it's 3. Do you want to start now?
Is everyone ready? Everyone prepared? Caffeinated? Okay. Welcome, everybody. I'm so pleased to welcome you to our, believe it or not, December meeting. This is our 4th meeting of the year and our last one of the calendar year. So with that, we will begin. And we'll begin with officially with the quorum calculation from Maria.
Okay, everyone. So again, if you did not get to vote your attendance on the previous slide, this is your other chance. Here we go. Oh, let me share my screen. I don't need to, but let me do it. Okay. So this one is quorum question number 1, and it reads, select the campus which you represent. And your options, as always, are downtown Phoenix campus, B for Polytechnic, C for Tempe, and D for West Valley. Okay, about 10 more seconds. Okay, stopping the poll. Okay, moving on to the second question. So I know we just came from Thanksgiving, so I'm going to give you an easy question. This one reads, according to the Constitution, the Senate Constitution, the Senate's primary purpose is to represent which group? A, all faculty and academic professionals across all campuses. B, staff, ASU staff. C, administrators. Or D, the Board of Regents.
We get a moment to discuss this.
Okay.
I don't think she does.
This is an easy one.
We need time.
Okay, thank you. Stopping the poll. Yes, 108 of you got it right. It is faculty and academic professionals, and we have quorum.
Okay, thank you, Maria. To which there are almost 6,000 of us. So swallow that as we move on. Our next item on the agenda, thank you, Maria, is our action on our minutes from our 3rd meeting, which was held on November 3rd. Those minutes have been posted. Are there any corrections, additions, deletions to those notes that were posted? Okay, seeing none, the minutes are approved as posted. Next up will be a report from me. I want to run through a couple of things, but I also want to start by saying thank you to everybody. I know Eduardo was just saying that this year has been a year, but isn't every year a year? And I understand it's been an incredibly busy year for all of us, and I appreciate all of the work and honestly real tenacity and effort you've put into our shared governance that is not lost on me. And so thank you for that. By way of updates, I want to share with you first, my dashboard went out today, and I want to draw your attention to our public good. I was so pleased to highlight Rick Trinkner from the downtown campus, who does just incredible work in criminal justice. If you haven't read that, please make a point to read that. And if you would like to be featured in our public good for next semester, let me know. I'm trying to highlight some of the great work we are all doing. So please send me an email if you would like to be featured. About 2 weeks ago now already, we were at the last ABOR meeting at U of A in Tucson, and it was, I have to say, a roaring success. We, on the AFC, we gave a statement about the value of the arts and the humanities, both economically as well as socially. And I will tell you all that the regents don't normally comment. Our statement is at the end of the meeting, they're ready to go, we have the last 5 minutes, but there was several comments. President Garamella, President Crow, they both responded as well, and I heard amazing reception from some of our deans and faculty member. So we definitely hit on something important, the humanness of our work is as important as the technology. And so for those of you that are in arts and humanities, please know that the regents see that and appreciate that. And it's good to weave into our work, our messaging, because they like it. And all of that is posted on the ABOR YouTube channel. I also want to take a moment to clarify a little bit about our open forum, because I understand we would love a lot more time for open forum, and we often only have the last 5, maybe 10 minutes at the end of the meeting, which is not ideal, but sometimes it's all we can squeeze in. Open forum is really a place for updates, announcements. It's not a place to introduce new business. So if you would like to put something formally on the agenda, please let me know, please let Maria know. We can formally slot you, formally give you some time that we're not crunched to the end of the meeting. So I want to make sure that we have that space for open forum, but also that we have formal business spots open if you do want to put something on the agenda. This is really our agenda. So please make use of that space if you do want to put something on the agenda. Coming up, we have our holiday party on 12/12 from 10 to 12 in the Senate offices. We're gonna have cookies and coffee and tea and hot cocoa. Please make a point to come join us. It's come as you please, come whenever you're free. Come hang out, bring a couple of non-perishable foods for our Pittsburgh Pantry Drive, and let's be together. I'm trying to get some live music, but I don't know if we're gonna get it. It might be a little too late here. And that's again, 12/12 from 10 to 12. Also, please consider nominating yourself or a peer for campus leadership. We are actively recruiting for our next round of presidents, and we are looking for innovative, motivated people. The Senate is a place where you come to not only learn about the university, but where you train in leadership. So our UAC is a really unique place to do that. So if you're interested, please let me know, let Maria know, and we can, or at least be in stock downtown, and we can have those conversations with you about workload and expectations and whatnot. Coming up in spring, we are prepared to talk and eager to talk more about the ACD and some updates we're making to the ACD. We are actively working on those. They just take a little bit of time to format, make sure OGC has seen them, make sure the provost has seen them before we bring them to you. So we have not forgotten about those. We are also hoping to bring some more nuanced conversation and education about academic freedom. Since that is a big hot topic for us, it's very important for us, and I think it's prone to misunderstanding. So we're gonna engage in some conversations around that and in the spring, so that will be exciting. And then lastly, we are, much thanks to Tamara downtown and Elena in Tempe, really working on how we can create a culture of culture and a culture of engagement and belonging. So if you have ideas about things that we could be doing better or different to engage our community in the spirit of belonging, please let me know, or let Tamara know, or let Elena know. We are actively taking suggestions for things that we can do to make our Senate feel more welcoming, more engaging, more warm, more collegial. So please send those along the way. And then lastly, this is item D on the agenda. There was a PowerPoint that Vice Provost Jones sent to me about our 90 credit degrees. If you haven't had a chance to review that, please make a point to review it. Maria sent it out last Monday as well. It answers many of the questions we all have. We're going to talk about it today a little bit, but it's a great primer and a great background piece that will hopefully help us wrap our hands around what this means, since it is new for all of us. I don't see any. If anybody has questions or comments about any of that. Okay, well, if you do, you know where to find me. I hope to see all of you on 12/12. Bring some non-perishables, bring some toothpaste, some shampoo, some soap, all the good things that we can donate to our Pittsburgh Pantry. And with that, I'm happy to hand it off to Provost Gonzalez.
Thank you. And great to be here at the West Valley campus. The traffic's a little difficult. I had no idea this time of day, but anyway, so happy to be here. I think I have some slides.
And we're gonna
So-
share them.
Okay, great. So, this has been the week of giving thanks and gratitude for people who choose to celebrate it in that way. I certainly do, and had a wonderful weekend. But one of the things I wanted to just focus on is the way in which I feel very grateful for being at an institution that, despite all the challenges and chaos we're experiencing in higher education, we have still been able to find a way to keep moving forward in alignment with our charter and really pursuing our great ambitions despite, all the challenges that we've been talking about for the past year. And in fact, this is turning out to be what I would call a historic semester for ASU in terms of all the ways that we've been advancing. And one of the things I've been also talking about this past year is that it's important for us to lean into what we stand for as we advance, and also to find new ways of operating, new ways of thinking about research and research funding, new ways of partnering, new ways of bringing in resources to be able to do more of what we want to do. And some of our great achievements this year in particular show some of the exciting new ways that we're advancing. So if we'll go to the next slide, I want to just highlight some of those big achievements, starting with the medical school. We just heard about a month ago that we received our preliminary accreditation, which means that we are open for business. We are in the process of admissions currently. In our first day of being open, we had over 100 admissions, and last I checked, it's up past 600 and 700, or about 35 slots and growing. And so we've launched, and what's been very exciting about this, so we're now accredited. As you know, we brought in a new dean, and then we recently announced the naming of the school with the big 9-figure gift. And so I want to just show a video. Some of you hopefully have seen it, maybe not all, and just to focus on the types of people that are coming together to make this happen, because they are so very aligned with who we are and are really perfect for being able to advance into medical education, which is absolutely historic for ASU. So if we could just play, I'm going to show a couple of videos during my talk today. So if we could just play this one.
Everyone should have a shot at health. Human life is very fragile. It's really important to show up for people in some of the most vulnerable times of their life. What a difference that can make. I think the future of medicine simply belongs to those who build it better.
The idea of building a school at the convergence of medicine and engineering is so exciting. We need the next generation of healthcare workers to be able to practice more efficiently. And at the heart of our school is technology, using technologies to accelerate access, scale access to care, and improve outcomes.
Honor Health is so excited to be the primary clinical affiliate for the John Shufelt School of Medicine and Medical Engineering. We're trying to approach healthcare differently. I think, frankly, our industry has taken a lot of criticism, maybe even too much focus on how do we treat people on the back end. I see a different direction coming where we're going to be more engaged with people on the front end.
We're not building a medical center like many universities have. We're not even building a regular medical school. We're building a new kind of medical engineering school. Program design that allows us to expand the way that medical school will operate over time. And it is a part of the university, but it's also a part of ASU Health, which is an initiative of the university to affect the outcomes of Arizonans' health across all of the various parts of our society.
Our students are going to be fully immersed in both cultures from the very beginning. Medical culture as well as engineering. They will be dually trained. They will learn how to read both literatures so that they will be physician, engineer, entrepreneurs who will really transform the future of healthcare.
When I heard President Crow talk about the medical school, I immediately thought, I know what I'm doing for the next 30 years. I'm in.
We are so excited to announce that we've received preliminary accreditation from the LCME. What that means is that we have been reviewed by the professional body that accredits medical schools, and it means that we're ready to open our doors to recruit our first class who will be joining us in 2026.
You know, the reason we wanted to partner with ASU specifically is because ASU is renowned in its commitment to innovation and research, and they get things done.
It has the infrastructure, it has the talent, it has the leadership, and most importantly, it has the mindset. We don't simply need more physicians. What we do need is more physicians who can innovate, who are leaders, who can do it with a high degree of compassion. That's why I'm so excited about ASU, because I know that's what we'll be teaching.
John Schufelt is in many ways the embodiment of the spirit of what we're trying to do, embraces what we're working on.
We're going to be able to move faster because of his support. It's an accelerant.
It's this spirit of jumping off the cliff with us to get this thing going that I really want to thank John and his family for.
It allows me the chance to help create something and to be on the ground floor of something that doesn't just add to the medical education, it doesn't just add to the healthcare system, it actually drastically improves it.
Now is the time for healthcare and education to be a part of the solution.
We're building a school that really is a school not just for today, but for the future.
This school, I believe, is a blueprint for a new generation of leaders. People who don't just accept the status quo, but who have the skills, vision, and courage to change it.
In this new age of medical professionals, they'll be tech savvy, they'll be lifestyle medicine savvy.
These students won't just adapt to change, but they're going to thrive on change, and they're going to drive change to make a system better. I love ASU. There is no better place for innovation to happen. We are absolutely set up to change the world.
So, thank you for letting me show this. Just a couple of points. You know, Michael says that John Schufelt, who the school is now named after, so we're all getting used to saying the Schufelt School of Medicine and Medical Engineering now, really is the epitome of somebody committed to the notion of excellence and access. He's been incredibly successful as an entrepreneur with multiple ventures. But one of his ventures is he started medical clinics across tribal communities in the state of Arizona and continues to be committed to that type of service. And also, despite all of his success as an entrepreneur, he continues to see patients in the ER, so he's very committed to his practice. He has 2 degrees from ASU, an MBA, a law degree, in addition to his medical degree, and he's working on his master's in World War II at ASU currently. So he truly does believe in ASU. And the last line about we're here to change the world, that really is the intention of this school, is to really, first of all, change healthcare in the state of Arizona and partner not just with our primary partner, Honor Health, but with all the systems across ASU to innovate, to really make sure that we're focused on outcomes and not just training doctors. So if we'll go to the next slide, just to review a couple of other big announcements of the year. Similarly, we had amazing developments and a donation from Rob Walton to launch a new School of Conservation Futures. I'm not going to show this video, but the link is there. I encourage you to watch that one as well and to hear the thinking behind how we're now using this amazing philanthropic effort to advance education, advance research, and advance impact on the health of our planet on a global scale. Next. We also got another gift from Bob Zorich. He's an entrepreneur and oil billionaire who donated money for us to start a global institute for the future of energy. to educate people at all level about energy, how it's produced, how we can be more informed about decisions around use of energy and energy innovations, and to train the next generation of leaders who will have this knowledge. And next. We also just announced that we are launching something called ASU London. And actually, yeah, we can go ahead and watch that one. Is that okay? Go ahead. So ASU London, and I'm happy to take questions on any of these topics, ASU London is not ASU. It's affiliated with ASU and co-branded with ASU. It's a different institution, but it's designed with the assets and insights of how we train at ASU in ways that we can offer a 3-year UK degree by this affiliate, this other institution, but in a way that is articulated so that students would be well prepared to then do a 4th year at ASU and be able to get a 3+1 master's degree in the process of doing their education and have this international experience of studying both in the UK and in the United States. We think this will be a very attractive option, both for international students who, may not be as inclined to come to the US for various reasons that we're all experiencing, but also just might like this opportunity, as well as students from the US who might want to have this experience. So we've launched it, we're now recruiting, and when I say we, it's ASU London that's doing the recruiting. And they are, we have partnered to develop first engineering degrees and business degrees that have been fully informed by our W.P. Carey at Fulton School of Engineering. And we see this as an opportunity to broaden the aperture and to have a place in the UK that will allow us to do other things in the future. We expect to grow into other disciplines over time and just give us another way to be strategically positioned as a global university. So again, as we were talking earlier this summer about international students, and we need to start thinking differently. This is a perfect example of how we've done that with this ASU London opportunity. So next slide. We also just opened up our newest hub for advanced manufacturing, the ISTB 12 building in the Poly campus, which is a very high-tech building for advanced manufacturing, automation, robotics. If you haven't been out there, it's worth going to take a tour of that really impressive building. It's going to be part of the centerpiece of how we continue to attract students to the Polytechnic campus and hopefully grow that campus over time. And by the way, I should also say a new classroom building was opened on this campus as well just this fall. You all know about that, which is also part of our effort to keep growing ASU West Valley. Next slide. Yes. The other thing we saw this year is we're continuing to have rankings in very important areas. We maintained our #1 public university for international students. We also maintained our #2 public in the US for employability, which is very important in this world where we're trying to show the value of college degree. That's featured very prominently in a lot of our marketing that we're doing across the country. If we go to the next slide, some other rankings, we were ranked in the top 10 in the US for interdisciplinary research. And this ranking I wanted to put on the slides because we actually partnered with faculty to be able to solidify our strong position here. In that we had an email campaign reminding faculty of why it's important for all of us to fill out those surveys and to talk about the work that we're doing, because in fact we do have very strong involvement in interdisciplinary research all across campus, and it really paid off for us with an increase in our ranking. So I want to say thank you to all the faculty who took time to fill out that survey. And then next, we're continuing to build out our portfolio for AI resources to enhance teaching and learning. That you can visit the Provost website there to see the resources that we have available for faculty. We know that people have a lot of questions about how to operate in this new evolving context of AI, and concerns about the way that, you know, our teaching is changing and student behavior is changing, and we want faculty to be prepared. So, you know, I encourage you, if you haven't yet, to start off with the Self-Paced Teaching and Learning with Generative AI course that's available on the website. And we're going to continue to build out other resources to make sure we're serving the needs of faculty so they don't feel that they're ill-prepared and not doing the job of maintaining quality in their teaching and making sure that students are actually learning. So then next, just a quick update on California College of ASU. So we're continuing, you know, we have the California Center in downtown Los Angeles, which is made up of 2 buildings now. And it's a center, not a campus, but we are offering programs across many colleges there, and a lot of activity, community engaged activity in those 2 buildings that are called California Center. We also added in the past couple of years another affiliated university that was called California College of ASU. We've gone in a different direction, and that one will be ending at the end of this year. And so we're no longer going to be hosting California College of ASU in the California Center. But I just wanted to clarify, that doesn't mean that we're stopping our activity for ASU in California. If anything, we're doubling down, and really this allows us to kind of eliminate some noise as to what it is that we're doing and really focus on the ASU programs that are in the California Center, not the California College and at ASU. Okay, and then I just want to just announce that we have now selected 4 Regents professors. They got approved at the ABOR meeting last Thursday. 4 professors who represent many different disciplines, and they're about the most interdisciplinary group of Regents professors I've ever seen us present all at once. So Danielle McNamara, who is in the Department of Psychology in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. She's also executive director of the Learning Engineering Institute. And her research really bridges cognitive psychology, reading comprehension, educational technologies, augmented intelligence that she's been using in entrepreneurial ways, and also to advance the science of learning. So congratulations to Danielle McNamara. She will be inducted as a regent on February 18th, Wednesday, February 18th. We'll send out more information about that, along with the other 3 Regents professors, but I wanted you all to know about this and make plans to attend in February. So Danielle McNamara. The next one is Robert Boyd, whose picture should be there. Maybe if we click it again. Okay, maybe not, it disappeared. Robert Boyd is from the School of Human Evolution and Social Change in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. He's conducted absolutely groundbreaking research on gene culture co-evolution, and really advanced pioneering ideas about the ways in which environment actually influences genes, and the co-evolution of the 2 over time as culture influences future generations and the gene pool. The next person is Stephanie Forrest. Her work, she's in engineering, but her work has been very much shaped by biology, computer sciences, immunology, to really conduct use-inspired research that has tackled many, many grand challenges. She's from the School of Computing and Augmented Intelligence in the Fulton Schools of Engineering. And she's also a director in the Biodesign Institute. And then finally, our last regent is Donald Siegel from the School of Public Affairs, Watts College of Public Service and Community Solutions. Again, highly interdisciplinary, world-renowned scholar whose work has impacted business, economics, public policy, really redefined the field of technology transfer, innovation, corporate social responsibility, and really an outstanding exemplar for us to be putting forward as our next regents. So, and finally, just again, want to say, these high achievements do not occur without a large community of support. And I just want to thank everybody who continues to lean into our efforts to pursue our agenda and not get too distracted by all the noise of the challenges that we're facing. So anyway, onward we go, and thought this would be a nice way to cap off 2025 since this is our last meeting.
Thank you, Provost Gonzalez. Do you have time for questions?
Thank you.
Okay, why don't we take some questions? Let's start with Wes Sandy. Yes, round of applause. Yeah. So we'll start with questions. Yes, Mary.
So with respect to the new medical school, which sounds great, and this new way of thinking about the healthcare system, is there any aspect of this that is going to address the current way we have of paying for healthcare? Because it feels like the insurance tangle that we're all in is a big part of the thing that is so problematic.
Sure. I mean, those kinds of ideas are really part of what's driving our thinking about the role that this school can play. And the reason that we're not just developing a medical school that is siloed from the rest of the university, because we want to engage the entire university in pursuing many questions about what's wrong with the medical system today. Finances is certainly one of them. And so, that's where we hope over time we'll be able to pull in people from business, people from law, people from health systems engineering to really rethink this and to do it in partnership with the broader medical community. So that's the vision, absolutely.
Great. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Any other questions from West Valley? Okay, let's go to Polytechnic. David, any questions from you and your colleagues?
Did you guys want to ask a question? Are you all set?
We're good.
We're all set at Polytechnic, thank you.
Fantastic, thank you. Ian, questions from downtown?
Questions from downtown? No questions from downtown.
You all are under-caffeinated. Thank you very much. Let's go back to Tempe. Sarah, any questions from you and your constituents in Tempe?
Hang on, one's coming to the microphone.
Okay.
Oh, hi. Chris Bailey, ECEE. ASU London sounds very exciting, and as a UK accredited institution, as well as teaching, I'm starting to think about how we could get involved in research there as well. Now that, I assume, will have to be UK-based research, but it could link in with what we're doing here. So has any thought been given around how ASU London can engage in UK-funded research as well as European-funded research?
Yeah, so I mean, I think the ultimate goal is that we will see over time that ASU London becomes a more comprehensive institution. Currently, we're focused on launching the educational aspects of it, but we do have many contacts in London, including a partnership with King's College London that allows opportunities for us to think about research partnerships. So we're already hoping that people are thinking about those ideas. In particular areas, we expect to accelerate some of that research across binational research, particularly in health, since we're leaning into health so extensively, and there are many universities there that we already partner with. There's also our campus at ASU London is going to be on share location with City University St. George, which also has interest in becoming a deeper partner with us and trying to do some collaborative research. So I think anytime we move into an area, we're opportunistic and we continue to grow that area. So I would say I expect research will come in the future. But yeah, if you have ideas and things that you're hoping to do in research, you should make sure that you let your deans know about that, and let the Knowledge Enterprise know about that, and we can look for opportunities.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
One more question from Tempe. I'm actually asking this on behalf of a couple of Tempe senators that reached out to me over the holiday. There was an article last Wednesday in the Wall Street Journal entitled something like Arizona State University's president is pulling out all the stops to get on the good side of the Trump administration. And I just wondered if you could address that, because those senators were very concerned about a number of things in that article. Thank you.
Well, I know that President Crow's first response always to that question has been, don't believe everything you read. I think that the title of that, that it was a very unfortunate title. I think last time President Crow spoke with us, he made no secret to the fact that he's trying to, as much as possible, work with the administration, the federal administration, to sort of say, how can we, rather than take this punitive approach, like the compact, which he widely acknowledges was unconstitutional, some parts illegal. How do we instead sort of figure out how they can make a call to universities to have us be of greater service and be responsive? So I think that all, got churned up into an article that you read on Wednesday, some of which, I think, if any of you have been quoted in the media or participated in opportunities to work with the media, sometimes what they produce is not exactly how you thought you represented it. So that's really, without letting President Crow speak for himself, I think that's that's the most that I can say about that.
Great, thank you. No more questions from Tempe.
Okay, we have one question from Zoom. So let's go ahead and have Senator Zankar unmute.
Thank you, Maria. Provost Gonzalez, I really, really enjoyed your presentation, including about the medical school and engineering program. But I wanted to redirect my question to the AI part that you were talking about. I'm a faculty in the School of Engineering. I was the general chair for the data science program. I helped create the master's program as well in data science. I teach a generative AI class, and I teach a lot of math classes for the AI programs. One of the things we could benefit from is actually using these AI programs to create exams and homeworks and things, and even sample questions. So I also run a big seminar in the AI area, and we had a speaker come last week and talk about their product called Encanto. Now, are you folks trying out specific products, or is it just broadly saying use AI?
No, there's a multi-pronged strategy that we've been taking, and Ann Jones, I believe, is in the Tempe meeting and can also speak if she chooses. But first we wanted to make sure that faculty themselves were AI literate to the level that they wanted to be, so that they knew how to use it, and then creating communities of practice so that people could learn from each other. And it sounds like you're engaged in that, and thank you for that. That's wonderful. We also did something called we produced something called the Create AI Builder to give people actual tools to be able to build in their classes and tackle some of these challenges. We also did something called the AI Challenge, which is where, this is before we had the partnership with OpenAI that is now, applies to everybody on, all faculty on campus. We did a challenge where faculty could, and staff could propose all sorts of innovations that they wanted to use AI for, whether it be process improvements, whether it be teaching and learning, what have you. And then we provided support for them to get the OpenAI license so that they can experiment in that. And what we're doing is we're trying to understand which of those efforts have look very, very promising for us to capture and figure out how we would then try to scale and roll those out. So that's been part of our effort as well. And we're deeply connected with many partners in higher ed tech who are developing all sorts of tools and strategies that they want to bring to ASU. And we're doing our best to try to vet those and decide which of those, are tools that we want to make available to our faculty. So we're sort of doing all of the above. And it's been a very broad university effort to try to figure out the best way to responsibly move forward and to move forward safely.
Thank you so much. If some of us had experience in some of these, are we allowed to give you feedback in some way, or the office?
Absolutely, yeah. You should reach out, to my office, and we can connect you up with people. And some of you also may have ideas of things that you want to do, and we want to encourage that experimentation and also capture the really best ideas that are coming forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any
No
other
more questions. Nope, no more questions.
Okay, thank you, Maria. Thank you, colleagues. Thank you both.
Yes.
That was a perfect segue. You had no idea. To our next item on the agenda, which is really from our facilities committee. It's a request from our facilities committee who wanted to know more about how supercomputing works at ASU. And I had the great pleasure of meeting Sean Dudley, who's Associate VP at KE, and Douglas, forgive me if I'm saying your last name wrong, Genowin, who is an Executive Director in the Research Technology Office. We had a great conversation about supercomputing and power, but also AI ethics, AI fair use. And so they put together this great presentation for us and are prepared to educate us so we can be well informed about what's going on. Maybe some things we don't know at the university. So thank you for joining us, Dr. Dudley. I'll hand it off to you.
I appreciate this opportunity. Hear me okay? Okay, a little tall. I think we're good if I stand right about here. So, yeah, Sean Dudley, work for Dr. Sally Morton, Executive Vice President for Research. I've actually been at the university about 20 years at this point. And my office is, we call it the Research Technology Office, but you could just consider supporting science through applications of technology anywhere ASU is operating, partners locally, everywhere. So we've got a fair number of things to show. I'm going to move somewhat quickly through the deck. I wanted the community to have the deck for reference because it articulates some further details that might be of interest. Mostly I want to get to any questions you all have and address some of the primary interests that allowed me to come here today. So often around the idea of future investment and how we're going to scale up what we provide to meet the ever-changing needs of you all in our communities. So here's the agenda. And I'm just going to jump right in to discussing the Research Technology Office. I started to develop this about 15 years ago at ASU. I started at the Biodesign Institute myself in evolutionary genomics and just noticed that a lot of people were relying on friend of a friend or colleague for effectively technology support for their research. And I thought we needed to take a step up from that to providing enterprise services and infrastructure that extend what otherwise enterprise technology today provides. So a lot of specialized service development. We've developed a portfolio of 12 different service areas facing both the administration and research. Here is our sort of mantra and our mandate. Again, it's really addressing interests across our base of partners, all of our faculty. It's an absolute delight, as you can imagine, every day to engage in many meetings with a broad diversity of topics involved, anything from space research to to social science and so forth. Not always intensely technical. That's not why we're here. We're here to help no matter what. We've built solutions for monitoring apiaries just recently, for example, bee colonies. It's absolutely exciting for us. So I do encourage anyone interested to reach out if you have questions related to your interests, rto.asu.edu. Here's just a quick look at some of our service categories, and my main point here is we do serve the investigator community. We do manage a lot of the partnerships, clinical, industry, state, other, and we also support the administration, so you're welcome to reach out to me. I don't dictate process for ORSPA, but I'm at the table and engaged in those process activities. We want that to be an experience that's effective for you as well. We call it giving minutes back to science when we save you minutes of administration. And then otherwise on the enablement front, a lot of service development. So we work closely, as I said, with enterprise technology. It's really important, of course, that we leverage that broad base of infrastructure, services, capabilities, investments, and extend from that. I'm not going to go through this, but it's an example of what we call a RACI chart. This helps us understand who's responsible, accounted, consulted, informed, who's on first, and who's really accountable, who's going to ensure this thing. And then how are we going to be effective in revising where we'd like to be further effective. The yellow effective indicates locations where we mutually agree we need to improve how we're strategizing. Getting into research computing now. So this is effectively what I was here to talk about. I felt I needed to also foreground with the Research Technology Office. Research computing is within the Research Technology Office. It's a core facility. So for those of you familiar, a lot of facilities were brought into this model under Knowledge Enterprise through Central Core Facility Management, research computing being one of those. And research computing is led by Douglas Genuine and Tori Battelle. Douglas oversees our entire research-facing division. Tori oversees research computing. She has many years of experience as a leader and also effectively a thought leader in the research computing space. We're very grateful to have both of them. Lots of different support. So classroom support is something we're seeking to expand. It's very tricky out of Knowledge Enterprise, just for those of you that understand F&A, how money, let's say federal overhead can and cannot be spent. But we want to be responsive and be more effective in how we allow classrooms to leverage the supercomputing systems or other assets, other offerings that we have. There's a lot more going on here that's relatively fundamental. Again, we're looking to enable what folks are doing. That means caring, for example, about research data management. We stood up a service that's all focused on data acquisition, preparation, safety, management. Why? Because you need to be able to call on someone that steps in so you can focus on analysis and all the work that you want to do and not focus on data use agreement management, all that kind of difficulty. We're spinning up research software engineering as a further formal capacity, so we can do something similar for you, really, for more of you when it comes to scientific engineering. And then an overview of our supercomputing systems. So we have the Sol supercomputer, many are familiar with. That's sort of the flagship system that we launched in 2022. We have what we call Phoenix. That's a rebirth, appropriately named, I suppose, of our former system, now brought up to the same platform as Sol. And we have Allo, which was introduced really in the wake of pandemic response. And this is a HIPAA-compliant supercomputing system that KU invested in developing. I want to point out that for our purposes, we're very interested in having our faculty, at the table with us, not only in consideration for their interests in the scientific realm, but also how these systems, might impact society, how we can be effective in sustainability of HPC or supercomputing systems. So we're proud to announce this is the first time we're declaring that Sol was ranked 77th in the world for green supercomputing. We've got 4 different faculty groups working with us on the problem of water, energy efficiency, and algorithmic level, facility level, all different kind of tiers of use. We do have a new system coming online I'll talk a little bit more about. Okay, courses per year. This is an area, like I said, we've been focusing on. So we're starting to get a little bit more financial support, for example, from industry or alternative organizations, and sometimes we have the ability to scale up what we're providing to classrooms and become more efficient in how we allow people to engage in supportive classrooms. Something that I've asked the team to really focus on, and you can see we're still nowhere near ultimately where we want to get to. There's sort of always infinite demand in any service area that we're operating from my perspective. So we also have to figure out where we can have the most impact working with Sally and academic enterprise leadership, but making some good progress. And here's a bit of a timeline of investments. We don't always come out and communicate these things, but I wanted folks to know I've been really excited to see the university be now responsive and really what's a point of continuing investment. You know, supercomputing, these systems are effective for about 2 to 3 years if you just sort of purchase and let it operate. They age out very rapidly, so the capital investment strategy has to be aggressive. And the university has really allowed for that. So Sol comes online, thousands of workloads. We had a bunch more capacity the next year with support through bonds and other measures, collaborating with LEV and ET. It becomes globally ranked as a result, but then it becomes a platform for faculty investment. For those interested, we can get into the detail. I won't get fully into the detail there, but that's sort of the point as well. As we manage then assets for folks, it makes it much easier for folks to write in. You know, capacity, have it assigned into these systems, which we take care of and then we manage. And then continued investment, but just recently, one thing we're excited about is I was able to get a $20 million donation of specialized AI capacity from Intel that we are racking, installing, setting up right now. So the purpose, that's this new supercomputing system capability. I should point out that we've also, meaning KE, has made a $3 million investment in addressing what's called controlled and classified information, more secure and regulated capability. This was big out of any defense research, but sort of spreading. We're also taking on a variety of other secure and regulated interests. Won't get into those. It's a lot of kind of dense regulation to contend with, or satisfy, I should say. And we've moved to an additional data center location. So now, when I took over research computing over a decade ago, we were operating on campus and in what wasn't necessarily a kind of fully qualified or secure environment. Now we're at what's called Iron Mountain Phoenix. It's kind of the most secure, capable in the state. In addition, now we're also operating at this DCX facility through an industry partnership. So we got a lot of breaks. This is a pair of ASU alums that invested with us in launching a new system that involves this Intel capacity. What's the goal of the Intel capacity? Every single member of our research community, you know, staff, faculty, or students, partners as well, you can step into an AI environment, an AI experience that's as straightforward as some of the kind of, you know, familiar offerings, you know, Claude, GPT, or others. But it's located within one of these secure facilities within the state of Arizona. And you have the opportunity to have a conversational experience or a deep research type experience with special agents for various interests you might have, working on things like an Elsevier funding lookup, you know, those kinds of capabilities, and a lit review collaboration with Elsevier as well. So that's underway. We'll be live in the next couple of months. You should see some announcements. We have additional capacity there we can also partner with faculty on. I'm going to move through some examples of the work that we support. Just to give you a sense of what supercomputing is used for, well, detecting threats in social media is one aspect, deepfakes and other types of issues. Also understanding our changing oceans, studying brain activity, improving artificial intelligence itself. Sky does a lot of this great work. Exploring other worlds, we're partnered with all the Pillar space programs. Peering into cells, much of the biodesign type work. Managing invasive species. And then I want to talk about the other dimension of my organization. So we are also a grant-seeking organization. And that's not to say that we're going after our own, pursuing our own kind of special research interests. We can actually secure funding to further support your interests. So I mentioned protecting our community and our partners as one element of our mandate. We run the National Regulated Research Community of Practice. We are the home for that grant. And we have hundreds of folks across the country, from universities, from federal agencies, from industry engaged in really navigating and shaping secure and regulated research. We are co-leads to Trusted CI, the singular National Science Foundation Center of Excellence for Cybersecurity in Research. In enabling research, again, all forms, we pursued a grant from National Science Foundation to train the kind of missing body of facilitators, people, because we recognize that if you're going to use these environments, these solutions, you need someone to be able to come to you, work with you within the context of what you're doing and explain how this can matter, why it matters, how to use it, and then help you get involved with using these systems. These are, we call cyber infrastructure facilitators. I avoided that language because it's confusing, but we have a grant that we're executing on there. And then we do this lead with purpose aspect, often within the state. So often working with our sister universities and other organizations But some examples, we've got an active Flynn grant, an active grant with ADHS, and then some engagement with the American Indian Higher Education Consortium and the Tribal College Journal addressing AI in Indian country. That's it.
Thank you so much. That was, I think, a lot more than we can take in, because that was quite a bit of new information for us. So if you don't mind, could we see if there's any questions or areas of, is that okay, Sean, to take some questions? Yeah,
Oh, I'd be delighted, yeah.
okay. Well, let's start with West Valley since we're here. Any questions, colleagues? I think we're digesting. Let's go over to Polytechnic. David, any questions?
Yeah,
Yes, Penny has a question.
I'm just curious, where are some of these supercomputers located?
Good question.
Yeah. So at two separate facilities, Iron Mountain Data Center, Phoenix, and then what's called DCX, which is in Goodyear. So both secure facilities. Yeah.
Is that affiliated with Iron Mountain, the original?
You got it. Yeah, actually, the original founders of what were IO data centers, then Iron Mountain acquired IO data centers. That's who co-invested with us in DCX. So it's the Schlesman brothers behind all that.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
Any other questions from Polytechnic?
I think we're all set.
Thank you. Ian, anybody from downtown?
Any questions from downtown?
No? All right. Sarah, any questions from Tempe?
No questions from Tempe, thank you.
Fantastic. Maria, anybody on Zoom?
Yes, we have one question. Senator Aliste, can you unmute?
Hello, this is Marcela Aliste from downtown, but today I'm from Zoom. Oh, I am so excited. I follow you talk because I'm working from supercomputers from, I know, and tell you, because from 1992, from my bachelor thesis, and from my postdocs in Calgary, Georgia Tech, and now I am a teaching professor of health informatics and the Ecological Solution Program Director. Yes, and now with our ASU Health umbrella, I have a question for you, because we have this electronic health record software that is very expensive, and everyone working in healthcare know about it, but we have an open source software that we can install. Who I need to talk to install it, that our med students and everyone that want to learn it can use it? Because that's the question, we have it. We cannot install it, we cannot use it because getting a license software is more than $1 million. But we have this open source that is free, and we need somewhere to install it that our students can learn with real patients.
Yeah. So for EHR, Kyle Bowen is in the center of that, and he's Lev's deputy CIO. Honor Health uses Epic, so that's going to be a component as well for the students. But I would definitely reach out to Kyle. It's really important, for our students to get exposed to the options that exist, and and be prepared to step into other future clinical environments where other solutions are going to be, in place. So, reach out to Kyle Bowen if you could.
Yeah, because we have a partnership with Honor Health. When we train the clinical informatics fellowships, we do the theoretical part and the ecological solutions, and Honor Health that the more practical side. And I asked our clinical fellows, where do you learn to the electronic health record part? They say, on the field, and they won. And we had to do better on that. We had to teach our med students in-house here at ASU before they go to learn day one and the residents how to input the patient data. Thank you. That was my question.
Thank you so much. I do have one final question before we close this section. When we met, Sean and Douglas, we had a great conversation about your approach to ethical supercomputing and ethical AI use. And I'm wondering if you could share that with us, because that's something that we, I think, ruminate over quite a bit, is the ethics and really the intentionality of the conversations that you're having. I think it would benefit our colleagues to know a little bit about your approach to these things.
Sure. It certainly goes beyond just energy, and which is critical to examine, what these systems require, what they consume. We spend a lot of time pulling back the curtain on different capabilities, so folks can first understand what a model might be very good for, but also understand, what the asterisks are and what to be careful about. So this again is often through partnerships with faculty that are probing these systems. But it's I heard this come up, Letha brought it up earlier. How are we evaluating what's becoming available? It's a week by week process of investigating these platforms, and then kind of water testing them and really verifying. Something we've done ever since I launched the office. We're really careful to be that first customer sort of on behalf of our future research faculty user. If a public cloud provider is going to make some claim about how they can address, let's say, genomics research, and save the university a tremendous amount of money, we'll always hold them accountable for assigning us credits. We'll always operate those workflows. We'll always often find there are some gotchas. So we're stepping out in front to try to make sure that what makes its way into our portfolio and what gets advertised to our community is safe and something that can be understood. While also, being an option that brings real value, trying to avoid often those situations where it's just an apple and an apple. That really just confuses everyone, and we can't get as effective at an enterprise scale when we're allowing a lot of that.
Thank you. Something that you said to me that was really profound is that we have to use technology with purpose, not just throw technology at it because it's fancy, right, or trending or whatever. But that really, I think, in a very high-speed world, knowing that there's intentionality and pause behind some of these things, I found incredibly supportive. Maria, just let me know, we have one more question on Zoom. I think this will be the last one. So Maria, I'm not sure who it is.
Correct. So Senator Sankar, can you unmute?
Yeah, I'm sorry for asking so many questions, but I did want to give a shout out to both Doug and Sean. You guys are doing an incredible job with research computing. Faculty like me who do so much work in the field of AI just can't get by without the incredible staff at RC. They're just so responsive. I want to give a shout out, but we are competing with the likes of Google when we go to these ML conferences, and I'm going there tomorrow for NeurIPS, one of the largest machine learning conferences. And we have 3 papers just from my lab, and many of us ASU faculty are going there. How can we scale the kinds of investments we need in high performance computing just to do these very deep models and these foundation models, which we need to do, even if, Alicia, we are working on fair AI to make them fair and private and secure. A lot of us are working on those things, but we need the computing power to be able to do this, sadly. And I'll rest my question with that. Thank you again.
Yeah, I'd always welcome that as as a request you can hold me accountable for, in terms of you're absolutely one of our super users. Really really effectively utilizing these systems. One of the slides we'll often have in this deck is actually your fair work, because obviously that's incredibly important. We work, in a couple different fronts. There's national facilities we can tap into. We just did this recently. We'll ask Pittsburgh to provide capacity, or San Diego or Texas or others for specific work. That, of course, has administrative overhead, right? That takes time to get people sort of accepted and spun up in what the nation is offering through different kind of platforms that have been invested in from the federal direction. So those are out there. We're often working with those programs to work to optimize that whole administrative approach, because it can be too slow for your purposes or other purposes, but it's getting better on some fronts. This other investment, with this collaboration, this donation with Intel, this collaboration with DCX, there's a lot of additional capacity that we're looking to offer to people like groups like yours to do this grander scale work. It's you'll understand this is specialized for inference, right? So it's not for everything, but training models and running models. So effectively, there's always going to be more demand than we can satisfy. What we're always looking to, so we engage nationally with our peers. To understand where we're at. We actually, Douglas helped to develop the research computing facility maturity model, so we can actually assess ourselves across the nation, understand how we stack up and where we need to invest to at least be fully competitive with who ABOR and others declare we need to be. So that's an active process. That's helped us get specific investment, for example, in storage not too long ago, and some of this computing capability. It's also driving some of the future investment in additional AI capacity, which is an interesting conversation when we've got, originally with Seoul about 10 million invested to prime that system, following on with millions and millions and millions in the following years. And here I am sort of knocking back at the door of Sally and saying, okay, so anyway, we still need more AI capacity. I think she completely understands this big boost from Intel. We're excited about also because what it does is it draws a lot of people over to that infrastructure that aren't otherwise maximizing in their use of some of the really high power, what we'd say GPU AI infrastructure in Seoul. So that might benefit you in the coming months, Lalitha, because your group would absolutely leverage these A100s, H100s, those kinds of things.
Thank you so much. This has been such an amazing education. I'm sure we will have more questions for you after it settles a little bit, but thank you, Sean. Thank you, Douglas, for your time and your passion and frankly for the education. So we greatly appreciate you. We give them a round of applause before we transition.
Thank you.
All right, next up on our agenda is our shared governance portion. This is our Senator Spotlight, where we are here to learn a little bit more about one of our colleagues who we might not get the chance to learn about. And today I'm so pleased to spotlight Lynn Cook, who's a clinical assistant professor at CISA in the School of Applied Behavioral Studies, and senator for the past year. Lynn brings extensive academic and industry experience, having served as a faculty member in technical and professional communication at several universities, while also working as a technical writer and usability experience designer. She's also a member of our LLC committee. So Lynn, if you want to share a little bit about yourself, we would very much enjoy it.
Wow, you pretty much covered it. I'm impressed with your investigative skills. I just want to say thank you very much for spotlighting me. This is the third faculty senate that I have been on, and I have to say this one is incredibly organized. You're really affecting great change on this university, and I'm also pleased to serve on other committees of the university. Yeah, my specialty is technical writing, so I'm teaching students not to write those awful manuals that you get or you see online. And my subspecialty is usability, which is the study of how people interact with computers and apps and other things, kind of measuring and observing them. Thank you very, very much, and I really appreciate this.
Thank you, Lynn. Next up, we turn to new business, and we're going to begin with first reads. And as a reminder, first reads are not open for discussion. They're a heads up, a hey, take notice of this. You can ask points of clarification, but they're not time for deep discussion, and full discussion will take place at our next meeting. And the first read items will now be presented by Wendy Williams, who's one of our co-chairs of CAPC, and they will be reviewed at their next CAPC meeting in January. So, Wendy?
Okay, thank you, President Kwam. CAPC will be meeting on January 29th to vote on 4 motions. These items will return to the Senate for a vote at your next meeting, and in the interest of time, I have been asked to summarize these motions for you. They are listed in full in your Senate agenda. They include 1 motion from New College of Interdisciplinary Arts and Sciences to disestablish an undergraduate degree, and 3 motions from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication for name changes to existing undergraduate degrees. As a reminder, concentrations and minors do not go to the Senate for a vote, but they are always listed in the appendix of your agenda for your reference. If you have any questions or concerns about a motion, please contact the CAPC Chair or Senate President by January 22nd. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. Greatly appreciate you and Claudia, all of your hard work for CAPC. Next up, we will move to two revisions to the ACD. They'll be presented by Bill Vandermeer.
The first motion is revising ACD 70202, which is health-related leave, and it's a minor modification to include mental health. The second is it says a revision of the membership for the Academic Professional Grievance Committee, which reflects the changes in AP status and contracts over the last 15 years to enable greater membership. And this parallels a change we made to membership in CAPC earlier this year.
Thank you, Phil. As always, be prepared with questions in our February meeting. It seems like forever, but it's not that far away. I also want to, before we go into second reads, I want to make mention of our conversation at the last meeting around ACD 11101 regarding voting rights. You'll see that's not on the agenda right now, only because we're still sifting through it, trying to figure out how can we bring this back and in what form do we need to bring it back. So we're working very closely with our Vice Provost, Colleen and Patty, as well as OGC, so that we can bring you something fresh and clean for a conversation in February. So I know you're all waiting on bated breath for that, but it will be in February. Next up, we'll move to second reads, and we're going to move on with new course proposals. These were sent to you on November 18th, 2025, as a first read through email by Maria. Again, because of the sheer number of course proposals, we do a first read through email and we vote on them in gross, allowing for a single streamlined vote. Before we proceed to vote on motion 2026-37, new course proposals, do any senators wish to remove a course from the proposal list for individual consideration or conversation? Ian? Yes, please raise your concern.
To motion to remove 2026-29, the request from Mary Lou Fulton, to be considered separately.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any others? Any other colleagues?
Wait, can you go back? We're not in motions yet. We're in new course. This is did
New
you
course
ask for?
proposals? I think that's a CAPC motion, Ian.
Right. That's the next one. Or did I misunderstand?
I think you're correct, Maria.
Correct. Okay. No, these are new courses.
So new course proposals, do any of our colleagues wish to remove one of those new courses for consideration separately? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to voting.
That was a wrong spot.
Okay, so this motion is to vote on new courses, which, like Elisa said, they were sent about 2 weeks ago. So it reads, do you approve Senate Motion 2026-37 new course proposals in gross? A for yes, B for no, or C to abstain? Okay, stopping the poll. This motion passes with 107 votes, 94%.
Thank you, Maria. Now we'll move on to second reads for CAPC motions. As a note, these motions were discussed at length and approved by CAPC and may be voted on in gross depending on the conversation. And our next action item will be presented again by Wendy Williams, one of our co-chairs.
Okay. CAPC met on November 13th to vote on 9 motions. These items now return to you for a vote. Again, I will summarize the motions, which are listed in full in your agenda. They include 2 motions from the College of Integrative Sciences and Arts, one to establish a graduate certificate and one to transfer a graduate certificate from the Dean's office. 1 motion from Mary Lou Fulton College of Teaching and Learning Innovation to establish an undergraduate degree. 3 motions from the Ira A. Fulton Schools of Engineering, 2 to establish undergraduate degrees, and 1 of those to establish an undergraduate certificate. 1 motion
Thank
from
you.
Yes.
Sorry, I thought you were done. My apologies. Keep going.
Oh, it just keeps going. This is good though. This is curricular innovation, right?
Yeah.
One motion from the College of Health Solutions to establish an undergraduate certificate. One motion from the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences to establish an undergraduate certificate. And one revised motion from University College to establish an undergraduate certificate under the revised name Work Plus Life Design and with a revised assessment plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. It never ceases to amaze me how many things we vote on every month, like how many new things. Anyway, thank you for that amazing summary. So before we proceed, Ian, do you wish to remove a motion from the list for further discussion or consideration? Yes.
Yes, apologies. We were caffeinated and it didn't work out quite the right way. I motion to remove 26-29, the request from the Mary Lou Fulton College of Teaching for further discussion, so that it's not voted on gross.
Thank you, Ian. Do any others wish to remove a motion? Okay, hearing none, we will vote on the revised list and then discuss Ian's motion.
Do we have to vote on the removal first?
No, you don't
No.
vote on that, it's just pulled.
Phil said no.
Okay, we are, give me one sec. Okay, so you have a motion in front of you that says that you are approving CAPC motions grossed revised. This is, to be clear, with the removal of Senate Motion 2026-29. So if you approve this motion revised without that motion, you want to vote yes, or B, no, or C, to abstain. Okay, stopping the poll. The revised CAPC motion without that 2026-29 is approved with 109 votes, 92%.
Thank you, Maria. The floor is now open for discussion of motion 2026-29, and Ian, we will begin the discussion with you.
Right, thank you. Are there any senators who want to speak? We have one senator who's coming up. Or you can kind of keep.
An awesome sweater.
Need them. You want the microphone?
I've never did one before. I'll try. Why not? Yeah. So looking at this particular proposed program, I think it's potentially innovative and may do a lot of good, but I think there's also a big shift here that simply needs more time, more conversation, more information. I've reviewed the PowerPoint at length. There is not really an explanation of why what is being taken out is being taken out other than the service of general help. And this is the one program we're all downstream of. The teachers trained in these programs will end up in all of our colleges, all of our units, all of our programs. And so given the scale of this and the import, I think it needs more time, more conversation, and more information before the Senate can take action.
Thank you very much. Are there any other comments from downtown? Just want to pause and make, oh, Ian, please, yes.
Thank you. I think that just given, I want to support a lot of what Senator Wermers had said, and given the importance of these types of degrees, particularly because they're dealing with elementary education and special education in the future, I think it is important that we consider these very carefully and that we are able to debate and discuss them with appropriate and accurate information. And a little bit of time certainly will help us make the correct decision, given the importance of these degrees and where they will be going in the future.
Thank you, Ian.
We have another person
downtown.
So I'm not opposed to the proposal in theory, in the abstract, but I agree with the comments of the other senators. And I was particularly concerned or surprised to see that a number of the classes that were removed from the 120 credit version to the 90 credit version dealt with diversity, cultural diversity, and inclusive teaching, and so I would like more information on that decision point as well.
Thank you very much. Given the seriousness of this conversation, I want to make sure that I pause and go to the other campuses as well to see if there are any questions. David, are there any other questions or comments about this motion from Polytechnic?
They get credit.
Oh, I don't think we have any questions here.
Yeah.
Or comments.
Thank you. Sarah, are there any questions or comments from Tempe?
Not on the floor, but I've received some privately. One echoes the question about the courses on diversity that the downtown senator just raised. One asks about the lessening and the number of required student teaching hours. And the third one asks why the program is situated at West Valley. And
Thank
no
you,
one
Sarah.
else is, there is no one at the mic in Tempe.
Thank you, Sarah. West Valley colleagues, are there any comments or questions on our end? Right, it's Phil.
The UAC talked about this and received a number of concerns about this, feeling that there hadn't been enough information, and suggested that under these circumstances, what we really needed to do was not vote to turn this down, but vote for a formal postponement of the discussion and voting for the February meeting, with the expectation that there would be significant amounts of information provided in the interim that people could make themselves informed about the nature of this. So I would propose a motion that is to postpone the discussion and vote on motion 2026-29 for a full discussion in the Senate and policy, and a vote in the February Senate meeting.
So we have a motion on the floor. If we want to vote on that, we would need a second on that motion to postpone.
Please second.
So both Eduardo and Mary seconded that motion. So again, colleagues, this is the motion to postpone the vote to February with the hope of having more information and more conversation at that time. Any discussion? Colleagues? Okay, hearing, seeing none. Maria, why don't we vote?
Okay, so the motion in front of you is going to be to postpone. Hold on. We have some action here. We have some folks here from Mary Lou. Do you want to give them a chance? Do senators have questions for them so they can answer, or no?
Well, the question has been called, but they are here, so if they want to speak briefly, I think that that's only fair to them as our guests. If they want to say anything, we would welcome it, since we are trying to understand.
Sorry,
Hold on.
not in Tempe.
Good afternoon. For those who can't see, since I'm in Tempe, not quite on the camera, this is Vice Provost Jones. I'm representing the curriculum team from the Office of the University Provost this afternoon, and I have also representation from the administration of the Mary Lou Fulton College. I want to pause for a moment to ask what questions could have been posed in the 6 weeks the proposal has been before the Senate that weren't posed to us already, insofar as we have answered the questions that were posed to both the Provost's office and Mary Lou Fulton, and we're happy to answer questions today if senators have questions. Before passing the mic to my colleagues in Mary Lou Fulton to address some of the critiques about the curriculum explicitly, I will point out that the proposal was discussed extensively by CAPC at their last meeting. And it was also voted overwhelmingly by the Mary Lou Fulton College to support it, right? The faculty in the areas expert on this proposal have voted overwhelmingly to support the proposal. I recognize that my colleagues may have questions about what the future holds for 90 credit degrees, but I hope that we will not be couching those in criticism of the current proposal. I just want to make sure that we are making a distinction between that. With that, I'll happily give my microphone to the representatives from Mary Lou Fulton.
Okay. All right. I am the author of the slide deck, so can probably answer most of the questions that are nitty-gritty questions. So to answer the question about why the diversity classes were taken out, how we constructed this was essentially looked at all of the teacher certification requirements first, coupled those with gen ed requirements, and then everything else was removed, essentially, because we don't have room. And so it just so happens that those were courses that were not required by the Department of Ed, and so those were taken out. Obviously, it would be our preference for us to keep all 120 credits, but this is an opportunity that the university felt like was worth pursuing in the interest of knowing what is also coming down from multiple other 200 plus universities around the country with this 90 credit degree programs. With respect to why at the West Valley, we felt like the population, from what we know about people who have taken advantage of the 90 credit programs at other institutions, they tend to be people who are career changers, older populations, people who want to get in, get out, are not looking for the traditional college experience. We felt like we wanted to give a ground campus an opportunity to do that, and our two options are Tempe and West. That's where we are. Tempe did not feel like the right choice because our students come to the Tempe campus, tend to want that traditional experience. West Campus students are much more likely to be commuters, much more likely to be older in population, working, and also career changers. In addition, we felt like it was a good opportunity for us to contribute to the West Valley Forward initiative and try to increase enrollment at that campus. What am I missing? Oh, the required number of student teaching hours. Thank you. So in our state, we actually don't have a credit number that is associated with student teaching hours. It's a week requirement. We have a 12-week requirement minimum. We require an entire semester, but it has nothing to do with the credits. The credits are allocated based on what we think students will be doing in terms of full-time equivalent, which is 12 credit hours. So in our graduate programs, for example, student teaching is 2 credit hours. It has nothing to do with the state requirements. It has everything to do with the time investment in it. And so the elementary education degree has 12 credit hours for student teaching. The special ed has 9 credit hours for student teaching. The reason why we had to do that is because we could not shrink the program any more than what it already was to be able to account for general studies, plus Arizona teacher certification requirements in mild, moderate special education. And so, we couldn't go to 93. Our original proposal was actually at 93 credits, and we were denied that and told we had to get it to 90, and this was the only way we could do it. But we still are meeting certification requirements.
Thank you. So I'm gonna,
Okay, so I can bring up the vote and I can explain what it means. So the motion, since it has been proposed, we have to vote on it. If you vote yes on this motion to postpone until February, we will not vote on motion 2026-29. If you vote no, then that means that we're gonna have a vote on that motion, and then you can then either vote yes or no on that motion.
Maria, but before you pull up the vote, since Phil made the motion, I want to hand it back to him.
Yeah, I would just add, I think there are 2 parts to this. The first is the actual degree itself. A second is what this means in terms of broader policy. So, what guidelines or restrictions are there for the proposal of additional degrees? Is it mandatory that the unit must itself agree to that, I assume? What kind of the forms require looking at comparative competing degrees, but maybe not alternate degrees? Should there be a concern about looking at, for example, AA degrees, or looking at certificates to see how 90 credit hour degrees fit into a broader pattern? And finally, what about a review of proposals like this to see whether or not that employability that's being touted here is going to be recognized? The expectation in this, there's a suggestion that there will be 100 students in the first year, 200 in the second, 300 in the third. That's always polite fiction when any course or degree is proposed, but it's a particularly important in light of this new kind of program. So I think it's not just a question maybe of this degree, but maybe some consideration of the broader implications for academic policy and curriculum development here.
Would you like to proceed with the motion? Okay, since the motion has been made and seconded both by Eduardo and Mary. If you vote yes on the motion, we will postpone the conversation and vote to the February meeting. If you vote no, we will vote as intended on the agenda. Maria, whenever you're ready.
Okay. So again, this motion is asking you to vote whether to postpone vote on Senate Motion 2026-29 until February, which would be Senate meeting number 5. That would be a yes vote. A no vote would mean that you want to vote on it today. So submit your vote. Okay, ending the poll. The motion passes with 64 votes, 55%. This motion is now, motion 2026-29 is suspended until February.
Thank you very much, colleagues. In advance of our February meeting, please send your questions to me and or Vice Provost Jones, and we will work to bring them to a fuller conversation in February with more time allotted for this and a fuller conversation for a more well-informed vote. Thank you, Bill, for making the motion, and thank you everybody for being so engaged in the process. This concludes our business for the meeting. And at this time, we would normally hear committee reports, and I want to highlight some of the work by Whitney Hansen and Jeffrey Timmermans, who are co-chairs for Student Faculty Policy Committee. They've been actively working on a specific item that we wanted to bring to your attention before the end of term. So I'll hand it off to Whitney to give us a abbreviated report, not at all exhaustive of all the work they've been doing, but an important report on Student Faculty Policy Committee.
Hang on, did we vote on the rest of the CAPC motions or did I space out?
We did. The revised agenda.
We did it first.
It's been a day. It's possible I skipped it, so thank you, Sarah, for checking. Now, Whitney, I'll hand it off to you.
You didn't?
Hello. I am the chair of the Student Faculty Policy Committee, as Elisa mentioned, and we received an RFC this semester about the change that sales made to flex plans. So some of you might be aware that flex plans used to be initiated by the student. So if a student had a sales accommodation that allowed for flexible attendance or flexible assignment deadlines, the students were responsible to initiate a written plan with a faculty member, and then the faculty member would read what they wrote, revise based on what was reasonable for their course, and then it was agreed upon. This semester, a week before the semester started, sales changed that policy so that faculty now are responsible for initiating that process, and we need to create a flex plan for each course that we teach if you have students that require those accommodations. So a few faculty reached out to us and put in this request for consultation. So a few members of my committee met with Alicia Wackerly-Painter, who is the Director for Access and Student Support at Sales. And we asked a little bit about why this change was made and about resources for faculty, because it was a big change and faculty had a lot of questions about it. So I wanted to report back a little bit based on that conversation. So first, the reasons for the change were both legal and practical. The Office of Civil Rights is, a federal institution that is in charge of enforcing civil rights, including those related to accessibility and student disabilities. So really, whatever procedures sales follows have to be within the spirit of those laws. And sales felt that students really should not have to negotiate for their accommodations. It put an unfair burden onto them, and there are certainly differences in implementation when students have to go to a faculty member and ask for accommodations, negotiate with their faculty member. So it was not equitable even within a course what students would get as an accommodation, and that is legally an issue. Also, there could be problems with equitable implementation across sections of a course and different courses. And so, consistent with other universities, they have the faculty initiate this process, and they felt like it was more within the spirit of these laws to have the faculty decide what is reasonable for their course, and then that would apply to any students in that class who have those accommodations. The other reason was practical. Faculty might have to fill out 5 or 10 or 15 of these flex plans and negotiate with students in the past, and this way you just fill out one. And then even though the flex plan is quite long, if anyone's had to fill it out yet this semester, it's long, it takes a while, but they have ensured that you can just copy and paste, just copy it over from semester to semester. So once you fill it out once, then it should not be much of a burden in the future. So if you have to do this in the spring, the advice that we received when you're filling out this form is you should really think about what is possible within your course without fundamentally altering your course. So you're going to be asked questions about attendance policy and about due dates and deadlines. And when you're trying to decide what flexibility can I provide for my students, ask yourself, what would fundamentally alter the course? So if you have a course that's very group-based or discussion-based, maybe they can only miss 2 classes, and if they miss more than that, it fundamentally alters the course, then that's what you should put in your flex plan. And then if a student ever needs additional, they have an extenuating circumstance, you're welcome to consider that, but you are not required to go beyond what is in the flex plan. And then they did sort of apologize for the last minute nature of this, and they have hosted webinars and created guides, and they will continue to post those on their website and blast those out in January so that if you do receive something like this in spring and you're new to it, there will be training and resources for you, and they will try to ensure that those are more visible. But there's no plan to change this, so it will at least continue for the spring semester, and then if you have feedback, please reach out to Dr. Wackerly-Painter.
Thank you so much, Whitney. I know that you fast-tracked this topic for us, and we greatly appreciate you and Jeffrey, as well as the rest of the committee, and doing some really, really good work for us. Again, if you have any questions, please follow up with Whitney or me or Dr. Wackerly-Painter, and we will make sure to bring all of those items back to you, questions, answers, things like that. The floor is now open for open forum. That's the end of our formal agenda. And as a reminder, this is not a place to conduct business or debate. It allows us to bring up issues, concerns, ask questions, make announcements, so on and so forth. So with that, we actually have time, which is a rarity. Do any senators wish to address anything during open forum? Ian, please.
Oh, thank you. If it's appropriate, I would try to encourage folks, especially senators across campuses, when dealing with the 90 credit degrees, to maybe send questions to campus presidents so that way we can better organize and batch questions rather than having the same question asked 1,000 times. And also to reach out to your CAPC representatives if you can, because they were part of those discussions and they might have information or context that the rest of us don't yet have.
Thank you, Ian. Great point.
Elisa, this is Sarah at Tempe.
Yes.
I have an announcement. Given the discussion of campus president nominations, I will be available for an open hour for anybody who wants to discuss it next Thursday from 1 to 2 p.m. I meant that just so any Tempe senators and then I guess any other senators are welcome to come along.
Thank you, Sarah. That's very generous of you. It's a really great gig, guys. It's really fun. It's enlightening. It's stimulating. You learn a lot about things you didn't even know to ask before. So it's a lot of work, but it's very meaningful work. So if anybody's interested, please let us know.
We have a question. We have an issue from
Yes.
Senator Daumis. Please unmute
Yes.
for open forum.
Hello, can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great, thank you. Hello, everyone. So a little over a month ago, we were advised that the scanning services, the centralized scanning services was going to be eliminated. And I know that caused a fair amount of concern in my academic unit. I'm W.P. Carey School of Accountancy, as well as the W.P. Carey School of Business more broadly. And I suspect there was probably concern throughout the university for any folks that especially teach large enrollment classes that do paper-based exams. And I think that there's probably a trend that we'll see where people will go back to paper-based exams, at least to some extent, with concerns about mitigating AI risk with online exams for large enrollment in-person classes. And so I was just wondering if there were any updates on that. In my thinking, with my accounting hat on, it seems that when you get rid of centralized services, you're going to be seeing where that capability has to be duplicated at the academic unit level, and in doing so, you're going to have duplicate costs. And so I wonder if there's going to be savings overall for the university, and then will you be able to duplicate the academic level or unit level? The capability that scanning services offers, especially if you consider end of semester crunch when you have a lot of exams that have to get processed. They're set up to do that, where individual departments are going to have to administratively manage getting that kind of work done. And so I was just hoping there might be an update on that, and that's the nature of my question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, John. If Vice Provost Jones is still here, I actually want to defer to her for any late breaking updates on that topic.
She's not here.
Oh, she's not there. Okay, well then what I will do is reach out to her and get us an update after the fact. That's okay, John.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, Ian, yes, you're doing the aircraft carrier thing. Yeah.
Hi, this is Catherine Barnard. I'm from the College of Law. I just had one quick question about sort of a point of order. There were 3 motions that were first reads that were on the University Senate website, but weren't discussed today. 2644, 2643, and 2642. They're still redlined partially. Just didn't know if those were for February's meeting or if we were intending to talk about them for this meeting. Anyways, just quick clarification.
I can answer that. This is part of a dance we're doing with the administration about when we can get the Office of General Counsel's final approval on things, so we've got a variety of motions. We were sending some of those forward. We thought that would be non-controversial, but they want us to look at all of these as a package. So there will be those motions and another 4 or 5 that will come up for first read in February.
Thank you. Good question, yes.
Services.
Yes. Okay.
Bill?
I think we had Polly.
Are we good?
We have a
Polytechnic.
question.
Polytechnic, please, yes.
Okay, hi, everybody. I'm Tatiana Walsh, and I'm at Poly, and I have just a clarifying question about the sales flex plan. Can we have them come in February and give us a better understanding of exactly how a flex plan for everybody who needs it in my course, let's say there's 3 people that have a flex plan, how that would not alter the course? I mean, if I buy one plan for 3 people and I say this is how it can be done, wouldn't I just offer that flex plan for everybody that's in my course? That's confusing to me.
It's a really good question, Tatiana. I will be honest, the February meeting's a little bit full, but I will do my best to shuffle things around and see, they're on my list anyway, to bring to the Senate. So I will see what I can shuffle around, because I do think it's time.
Whitney's here if you want her to answer that.
Sure, Whitney, yeah.
Lisa Whitney's at the microphone.
Yeah.
So, Alicia, Dr. Wackerly Painters did say that she would be willing to come and speak to the Senate. And it is probably better to have her explain it because she certainly understands the legal implications of this far better than I do. One thing that I would say right now is that we all create policies in our syllabus, right? And so if your syllabus allows for 1 absence and then after that you lose points, that is the policy for all of your students. But legally, based on the accommodations that the student might have, it might be important for you to give a little bit of extra consideration for those students. And I think we all do this already. So it's just writing it down, putting it on paper proactively at this point. So I don't want to say any more than that, other than to just say that it would be great to have Dr. Wackerly Painter come and address some of these issues.
Okay, I'll make it happen. I will shuffle things around. I think it's timely and important. Thank you, Tatiana. I'll make it happen for February.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
We have another comment.
Yes.
Dr. King, Hala King, please unmute.
Sorry, I can't disable my video. I just had a comment. One could easily see, can you hear me? Because obviously, one can obviously see that Vice President Provost Jones was quite upset that faculty might be thinking about asking questions. I would encourage all the senators in attendance to not be intimidated, to ask questions about this important issue, especially that we are removing classes that most of us think are very important. And ASU is very fast about building things up. And once they are up, we cannot change them. This is an important decision, and we would like the senators to feel free to ask questions, because I felt like a student in a class, and you should have asked this question earlier. Well, if I tell this to my students when the final exams are coming, I'll be in trouble. I'll be reported as being not very cooperative. We should feel free to voice our concerns, and I hope that all the senators will have that freedom as well and not feel intimidated. Thank you.
Thank you, Hala. Anything else, Maria?
Nope, no more comments.
There is a Tempe senator.
Oh, yes.
Hi. So ASU was in the news recently because in the released emails around the Epstein case, our own Larry Krauss figures. And so what is ASU's position? Harvard has been very clear that they have severed all connections with Larry Summers and they're investigating. Thank you.
That is certainly a question that I don't have an answer to, but I will make sure Provost Gonzalez receives your question and that she is aware of it. And can you just say your name just so I can have her follow up with you directly? I want to make sure that I close that loop. I can't see faces too well.
Sure. I'm Hilda Hohenbaum in the School of International Letters and Cultures. I'm a
Perfect.
colleague of Sarah Bolmartius.
Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate that question, and I will follow up and let her know to contact you. Okay. Crickets. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for your time and attention. If I don't see you for the end of the year, I don't see you at our party on 12/12. Please have a happy holidays, happy new year. We'll see you in 2026. Meeting is adjourned. And see.
Divide and conquer on conversation. Specifically 90 credit. Anybody wants to meet sometime between now and February offline to put together a combined list of questions and concerns, that would probably think better.